you're gonna go down to McDonald's and you're gonna order 2 McDoubles. Not 1, 2 McDoubles. Make sure you ask specifically for them to add the mac sauce to the boogers. They're not gonna add the mac sauce unless you ask.
This is a funny show.
Don't forget the mac sauce, Walter. You got that?
I like this funny show.
Ring, 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 ring.
My phone's ringing.
Ring, ring.
I love that.
Hello?
Sauce, Walter. It's so delicious.
What's that? Somebody left a bunch of stuff on my balcony? I better go look into that.
You to promise me, Walter, no matter what, that you're gonna order me the McDouble with the mac sauce. Remember, 2 McDoubles. 2 McDoubles, Walter. Got that?
I don't have a tape player.
Mac sauce.
There's one.
Hello, Agent. This is the Chief of the Spy Agency. We are dealing with an evil threat that can only be diverted by playing old Spy Kids-themed video games from the ancient year of the early 2000s. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, and let's be clear, you have no choice. I'm your boss, and you have to do what I say, you stupid, pathetic loser, is to play through all these games and review them for your stupid YouTube channel. There is no evil threat. I'm a liar. This message will self-destruct in 2 seconds. You just got pranked. I bet you totally fell for that, didn't you? Oh man, I wish I was there to see the look on your stupid baby face, you little loser baby man, you stupid little...
The Spy Kids movie series is the brainchild, pun intended, of Robert Rodriguez. While he's directed plenty of films in his lifetime, I think there's a pretty strong case to say that the Spy Kids movies were his biggest commercial success. The movies follow the titular Spy Kids, Carmen and Junie Cortez. In the first film, they're all just hanging out being a totally normal family until they find out that their parents are actually spies and are kidnapped by a guy who has thumbs for friends. Now the kids must become Spy Kids and save their parents. And George Clooney is the president. Spy Kids 2 Island of Lost Dreams is an absolute fever dream of a movie. Even right after watching it, I can't tell you what happens in it. Spy Kids 3D Game Over is a 3D movie, wow! Robert Rodriguez wanted to make a 3D movie, and he did, and here it is. Junie is no longer a Spy Kids, but he finds out that his sister is trapped in a video game that was made by Rocky Balboa, which is designed to free him from prison and take over the world or something. The visual effects are hilariously dated, but the 3D is pretty fun to watch. If you want the best experience watching this movie, you'll have to find the original DVD release with 3D glasses included, because otherwise this movie has nothing going for it. The acting is pretty bad, the characters are all bland, and the plot line is stupid. Do not watch this unless you can watch it in 3D. We don't talk about the 4th movie. There is no 4th movie. But did you know there's a Spy Kids Netflix show? Spy Kids Mission Critical is a show that exists. Or I guess it existed since there haven't been any new episodes since November 30th, 2018. Rest in peace, Spy Kids Mission Critical. You're already forgotten, and you will not be missed by anyone. So that's the Spy Kids cinematic universe as of now. There is a Netflix Spy Kids reboot with Zachary Levi in the works, which sounds incredible, but for now all we have is 3 serviceable movies, 1 movie that doesn't exist, and 1 bland TV show. Also a bunch of video games you've probably never heard of. As I was engaging in nostalgia by watching Spy Kids 3D Game Over again and realizing how terrible it is, I wondered what a video game based on the Spy Kids franchise would look like. So I went to my good friend Google and checked to see if any video games based on the movies were made, and wouldn't you know it, there were. Quite a few games actually. And I own them all now. I'm very bad with money. Today we're going to be looking at the Spy Kids movie tie-in games for PC based on the original trilogy. It's gonna be great. We're starting off with a game that isn't technically a game. It is, however, the first official piece of interactive software that came from Spy Kids, so we're gonna talk about it. Also, I paid extra to have it shipped out of the UK because apparently there's no copies of it available stateside. I'm very bad with money. Wait a second. The back cover says this product is for promotional use only, not for resale. So am I the criminal for buying it, or is the guy who sold it to me the criminal? I'm pretty sure this disc was given out with copies of the first movie on DVD, although I can't be 100% sure since there's very little information about this thing on Google. In any case, it's a pretty neat collectible that I wish to be buried with. So I put the disc in the computer and it booted up this incredible installation wizard. It's got a janky stretched out image of the first Spy Kids movie cover art, along with a terribly compressed version of the theme song in the background. The installation finished and nothing happened. I sat there staring at my desktop for a moment until I noticed a couple new items. One was an icon for the Cyber Spy Kit and the other was a folder labeled Email Bomb. I checked to see what was in the folder and I found bomb.exe. That is not unsettling at all. I figured there's no way a promotional CD-ROM for a family movie would have an actual bomb in it, so I double-clicked it and bomb.exe says to go buy a copy of Spy Kids to get the Cyber Spy Kit. But I already have the Cyber Spy Kit. Huh? After snooping around some more, I found the help file which says this bomb.exe program is meant to be sent to other people over email, so that they'll go and buy Spy Kids and get the Cyber Spy Kit themselves. I don't know about you, but if I received an email from someone with an attachment titled bomb.exe, my first instinct would not be to download and run that program. So what does the Cyber Spy Kit actually do? Glad you asked, because I'm about to ramble about it for a couple minutes. When you first launch the program, Carmen and Junie tell you that you've been chosen to join the OSS, but in order for you to be sworn in or whatever, you have to pass a test proving yourself worthy to be a spy. What kind of a test would a potential spy need to pass in order to join a spy agency? Maybe a test about, I don't know, being a spy? No, that's a terrible idea. How about you answer some Spy Kids movie trivia questions instead? That is not a joke. This is just a Spy Kids movie trivia quiz. I happen to be an expert on Spy Kids, so I was able to breeze through the quiz very quickly. Once I passed the test, I was given a certificate that my name would be attached to, as well as the password to unlock the rest of what the Cyber Spy Kit has to offer. There's a lot of cool printable stuff here, and wait a second, I don't have a printer. So I took the Cyber Spy Kit over to my parents' house and used their printer to print everything out. And in return, they're taking me out of the will. This is my secret agent ID card that I use to identify myself with all of my personal information on it. This is my big super spy badge that I have no idea what to do with. Here's a Spy Kids logbook, and you can just write stuff on it. Here's the Spy Kids room map. Using the grid below, simply map out your bedroom. You can then use the map for hide and seek games. Here's the secret spy mission list. As you can see here, there's a lot of important stuff I gotta get done. Here's a top secret letterhead for some reason. Here's a walkie-talkie that you're supposed to cut out, but I'm way too lazy to do that and try to figure out how to even work it. Like, look at that. Look at all the lines. Like, there's like some dotted lines and then there's some like firm lines. Like, how am I supposed to put that together? That looks so complicated. What is this? Here we have some deluxe Spy Kids badges or something. That they look pretty good. Those look pretty good. Here's a cool do not disturb tag that you can put on your door knob in case your wife keeps coming into the room and interrupting you playing Fortnite with the boys. Am I right, guys? You get what I'm saying? I'm totally joking, wife. I love you so much. I was told that was a joke. Funny joke, right? I hope you're laughing at the joke. There's some other neat stuff here, like a wallpaper that doesn't work at all, and a screensaver that plays the heavily compressed Spy Kids theme song at full volume. There's one more feature on here. It's an alarm you can set up to remind you of all the important spy stuff you have to do. I set up a very important reminder, and a couple minutes later, George Clooney reminded me to change my daughter's diaper.
An emergency assignment has come up, and I need you on it right away.
Thank you, George Clooney. While I was trying to find information about the Cyber Spy Kit online, I discovered another version of it which was packaged directly into this French DVD release of Spy Kids. And yes, I bought it. Of course I did. Please somebody stop me from buying all this stuff. To me, it makes way more sense to package the Cyber Spy Kit with the movie itself instead of wasting a ton of plastic to have two separate cases. But what am I, the plastic police? The Cyber Spy Kit in this copy is the exact same as the other, but this time 100% more French. Despite the fact that this quickly thrown together CD-ROM was made exclusively to advertise the home release of Spy Kids, it's a little fun to mess around with for 30 minutes. I will probably never think about it again, but what I will be thinking about is the first officially licensed Spy Kids computer game. Spy Kids Mega Mission Zone was developed by Guerrilla Systems and published by Disney Interactive. It released on August 6, 2002. While this game was released alongside Spy Kids 2, the game itself contains content inspired by both the first and second film. The game starts and Danny Trejo fills us in on what's going on.
Welcome to the OSS. Before you can go on any mission, you'll need to choose a secret identity.
I guess I have to pick one of these characters to play as. They all look a bit uncanny to me, so I'll just pick this person looking thing. I'm a level 3 spy kid, woo! Wait a second, the disc clearly says that this game is for use by level 1 spy kids only, and I'm level 3. So am I allowed to play the game or not, Carmen?
Agency 1017, you're just in time.
Oh cool, they got the actors for Carmen and Junie, wow!
Is this the new spy?
I don't like your tone, Junie.
You can go on an individual mission, or if you think you're ready for a challenge, you can go on a mega mission.
If you need help, you can reach us through your spy watch.
Do you want to get another take, Junie? You kinda stuttered there.
You think you're ready to become a real spy kid?
Well, technically I'm a 23-year-old, which means I'm gonna be a spy adult, but that sounds kind of weird, so yeah, I guess I'm a spy kid now. By the way, do you offer health insurance? So we can select either a regular mission or a mega mission. Just to get a feel for the game before diving into a mega mission, I'm gonna start with the first individual mission.
This mission isn't over yet.
I know it's not over yet. It literally just started, Carmen. The first minigame is a simple top-down perspective boat chase minigame. I gotta find some intel that a spy dropped off at a secret location, which is shown very clearly on my tracking device. I only have 3 lives to get to the intel before I have to restart. Plus, there's these evil boat guys who want to kill me too, so I have to be careful.
Use the right and left arrow keys on your keyboard to steer the Super Guppy.
You are really breaking my immersion, Danny Trejo. This minigame has okay-ish controls. They don't feel slippery at all, and the option to either dive under or jump over objects gives the player plenty of movement options to traverse the environment that aren't just move left and right. My only real complaint is that when I press
spacebar to speed up,
it's really hard to see obstacles up ahead and dodge them without taking any damage. Also, no clue what happened here, but I dove underwater and the game threw me to the right side of the screen. While playing this mission, I noticed that the enemy speedboat's AI isn't great. They very easily ram into objects and explode, so they weren't much of a threat to me. Once I reached the end, the game starts playing the same mission over again, so I decided to back out and see what the mega mission is all about.
The third brain system was a synthetic intelligence as smart as any spy. The last brain has been stolen.
So we gotta find the third brain, like from the first movie. Remember? It was the big MacGuffin plot device. I think the floopy guy wanted it or something. We're taken to this screen where there's a radar, 2 speakers, a light switch, a dial, a weird thing, and a briefcase in the lower corner. Danny Trejo explained something about what I'm supposed to be doing here, but I was too busy wondering how much money they had to pay him to appear in this game that I missed everything he said. After some fiddling around, I figured out that I had to figure out a way to decipher a scrambled audio thing on the speakers. I checked my briefcase and found a pair of headphones that plugged into this weird thing. Now that the headphones are plugged in, the sound on the speakers isn't a mess anymore. Now I just gotta match the sound on the dial and flip this light switch and wow, we found the red dot. Now that we've, done whatever all that was, we're thrown into the boat minigame I've already talked about.
The third brain is here somewhere.
I'm already an expert at this minigame, so I had no issue reaching the end while taking absolutely 0 damage. There, I reached the end with 0 deaths. Next on our mission, we have to infiltrate Fruipyland, or whatever this place is called, and find the third brain. It's a standard side-scrolling platform level. Arrow keys move us around, and the B key shoots a stun weapon to stun the thumb guys. Our goal is to find a sculpture thing and take it to where a person is being held hostage to set them free because logic. After we
Free the Foogly!
we're taken to another platforming level with the same objective, although this time there's some additional challenge in the form of glitchy platforming, falling platforms, and a poorly positioned thumb guy that easily caught me. Second attempt was smooth sailing. I ain't afraid of no thumbs.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool. The enemies in this game have incredible AI, which made this next mission very difficult. I also got stuck because Danny Trejo didn't tell me how to use the jetpack, which is an important part of this mission, so I had to spam my keyboard randomly and still couldn't figure it out. A thumb guy found me, which left me with 1 life before I'd have to start over. I had to be careful, because even one tiny misstep would spell my doom. The thumb man killed me. After losing 3 lives, we're sent back to the first level of this mission, and I'm very happy about it. When I got back to the third level, I still couldn't figure out how to use the jetpack, although I did figure out how to crawl, which is very useful. Somehow I figured out that
The space bar
activates the jetpack. You can move around with the arrow keys until either you push the space bar again to deactivate the jetpack, or it'll disable automatically if you run out of fuel, in which case you'll have to wait a few seconds for it to recharge before you can use it again. Using the jetpack, I was able to quickly find the clay sculpture, narrowly avoiding a thumb guy in the process. The last level is pretty easy since I finally figured out how to use the jetpack, and now we're at another puzzle. This time we need to figure out which of the brains is the third one. Gotta use these spy glasses to find the third brain and use a spy hammer to break it.
Good job, kid.
I am way older than you, punk.
That was intense.
And that's the end of the first mega mission. Hi, I'm Marty McJenkins here with a brand new store just for you. That's right, I've created stores, I've created apps that deliver lasagna, I've sung song before, I've done it all. But now I'm here with a brand new store just for you. Not you, you. That one that I'm pointing to. The best news about this store is that it's being built right on your street. Don't believe me? Go outside right now and check. I'll wait. Are you back? That's right, you saw it, didn't you? The brand new store is called McJenkins. McJenkins Spy Shop. That's right, at our brand new spy store, we're going to be selling spy products just for you. One of my personal favorite products at the spy shop is the epic spy gun, now with 12 bullets. And yes, before you ask, it's a real gun. What did I do with the spy gun? What did I give to that baby? What are you waiting for, stupid? Get on down to McJenkins Spy Shop when it opens next week again, right down your street. Back to the video now. Oh no, it knocked stuff over. Carmen and Junie congratulate me on my stunning achievement.
Congratulations, Agent C-1017.
It's Agent Plaidley, you loser. I'm upgraded to level 2 and can now replay the individual missions from the first mega mission, and no thank you, I will never be playing those again. I was very disappointed with the first mega mission, from the wonky controls to the fact that I had to push every button on my keyboard to figure out how to use the very vital jetpack. It just wasn't a well-optimized experience. But enough complaining about the first mega mission, let's complain about the second mega mission now. Also, I'm getting really tired of saying mega mission, so I'm gonna find some synonyms to use instead. Where the first large mission was based on the plotline of the first movie, the second huge mission is, you guessed it, based on the plotline of the second movie. Apparently the Magnet Men have taken over the OSS, so our first mission is to infiltrate the facility and get all the gear we need for our giant mission. But first, we have to figure out a password via this decoder device, so we can figure out what we'll need for the mission. We gotta put a magnet in the decoder to power it, and then we have to do a Wordle. Is that still a thing? Do people still do Wordles? I think that was a trend or something. I don't keep up with trendy stuff anymore because I'm not very cool. I wish that I could be like the cool kids, cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I thought this was a really fun start to the mission and wish there was more than one code to solve. But this is a Spy Kids video game, we can't have fun. Instead of going into the OSS ourselves, Ralphie, the little bug guy from the movies, goes in for us to collect the gadgets we need. Okay, so I'm editing this now and I just realized his name is not Ralphie. They don't call him Ralphie, nobody calls him Ralphie. It's Ralph. In the movies, it's Ralph. And I can't find any point even like in this game where they call him Ralphie. They call him Ralph in the game. And I watched back all this footage while I was writing the script. So I don't know how this happened. I don't know what I did here. So yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion. His name is Ralph. If Ralphie gets spotted, we'll have to retreat into one of the rooms until the alarm stops because for some reason these agent guys can't go into any of the rooms. Also, their AI pathing is terrible, so it's totally easy to just outrun them without getting caught. It was very easy to collect all the gadgets and get the pass card to get to the next level, which there are 3 total of. This small mission is kind of really fun actually. It's very basic and simple, but I enjoyed it and it's probably my favorite in this whole game. I think the reason I enjoyed it so much was because the controls weren't terrible, unlike all the other missions. Speaking of which, next up is another boat mission, although this time we're flying the Dragon Spy and still being chased by speedboats. I feel like maybe they should have made the enemies helicopters or something that would make more sense, but I'm terrible at making video games, so who am I to judge? That was a trick question. I'm a video game reviewer and thus my opinion is automatically both important and correct. Do not listen to opposing people who say I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a video game reviewer who is bad at this game and therefore the game is terrible and I'm giving this one a 2 out of 10. Now we're on one of these between mission puzzles.
You need to figure out how to open the gate.
How about instead we just, I don't know, climb through the huge gap between the bars? No, that wouldn't work. Let's instead use a dumb spy tool to see the magnet charges of the bars and click on them to make them match so the gates will open. That sounds more convenient to me. Next we have another boat segment, but this one at least looks a bit visually distinct from the others. This time we're on magnets and we have to avoid the other magnet guys while traveling through this jungle swamp looking place. Other than that, it's the exact same as the first 2 boat missions. What a surprise, they're reusing levels again. The final mini mission in Ginormous Mission Dose is another finicky side-scroller segment. Hooray! It's the same control scheme and basic level design, but this time instead of a jetpack, we use magnetism to stick to the side of the cliff, which is scientifically correct and logical. I could just leave it at that and say the set of levels is identical to the one in the first enormous mission, but no, let me tell you, this level contains some of, if not the worst platforming I've ever experienced in a video game in my entire life. And I've played M&M's The Lost Formulas. There's something about how the platforms are laid out to make it very frustrating to play this level. For one thing, I noticed that you can't activate the magnetism while jumping, which means you need to be standing perfectly still on a platform in order to activate it. Also, I don't think I noticed how quirky and strange the jetpack was in the first Colossal mission, but in this one, if you're attempting to move diagonally, you move super slow, which will drain your magnetism. Also, you have to go through 5 of these types of levels, and if you die or get caught 3 times, guess what, loser? It's back to the beginning. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't this game sound fun? This section of the game took me half an hour to complete, which is obscene compared to the other platforming segment, which took 10 minutes. I think it's safe to say this is the worst mission in the game. The final part of the second sizable mission is one more puzzle, and I've got to be totally honest, I have no idea how I managed to figure this one out. You gotta get these magnets on both sides to line up, and I just moved the magnets around until it worked. After pushing the button to stop the transmuger device, I save the day and Carmen congratulates me for saving the world again, rewarding me with the prestigious level 1 Spy Kids badge, which gives me the correct clearance level required to even play the game in the first place.
Whoa, level 1! You have access to all of the missions!
And that was Mega Mission Zone, and it felt very cheaply made. I don't know why I expected anything else. Everything about this game feels very cheaply made. From the character designs, to the acting, to the music, to the reused level designs at every corner, to the simplistic puzzles. It all feels very cheaply thrown together. But I guess I really shouldn't have expected a lot from the developers behind Detective Barbie 2: The Vacation Mystery. Despite that being a huge letdown, I'm really looking forward to playing the Spy Kids 3D Game Over movie tie-in game. This was my favorite movie back in the day, and I always wanted to play the game that was in the movie. It's literally a movie about a video game. What could go wrong? Everything. Spy Kids 3D Game Over the video game was developed by Inlight Entertainment and published by Disney Interactive. It appears to be the first game developed by Inlight, and that is a great sign for the quality of said game. I wasn't able to nail down an official release date since there's very little information about this game online, but my best guess is sometime between early to mid-July 2003 to help promote the movie. The game starts and wowie zowie, look at those incredible graphics! When we get to the mission select screen, there's 3 levels of difficulty to choose from. I'm starting with the easiest difficulty because I'm a loser. There's another cool pre-rendered cutscene setting up the events of the first level. It's the stick fighting game to the death from the movie that claimed the life of the fake purple girl that Junie liked.
We never even got a unit. email address.
Should be a fun mini-game. Maybe it'll be set up like a fighting game with moving platforms and dynamic level design like in the movie.
I need to win this for my family.
But I need to save Carmen.
Stellar voice acting and well-written dialogue. After the controls are displayed, we launch into the level and oh, no. Let's see, where should I start? How about the fact that in this Spy Kids 3D video game, the first level is two-dimensional with some of the cheapest and most generic-looking artwork I've ever seen. The gameplay in this section involves building walls so that Arnold will be distracted trying to break it so that you can jump around the barrier and beat up Arnold until he runs out of health. That is the entire level. Do that 4 times. There are some secret areas you can find if you manage to get up to higher areas by making more platforms with the stick, but there's really not a lot to this section. Until we get to the third round where we're told to put on the 3D glasses that came with the game. Oh yeah, the game came with 3D glasses. Probably should have mentioned that sooner. Unfortunately, the 3D effect is barely noticeable and the glasses don't work very well. I'm very disappointed and I have a headache now.
Sorry, buddy. One of us had to win.
The voice acting in this game is pretty laughable. I'm pretty sure none of the actors from the movie reprised their roles, and everyone sounds like maybe they put a little effort into their performance, but most likely they were just here for a quick check.
This'll leave a mark. Is that all you got?
I wish I didn't have to do that, Arnold. Hey, I thought I beat you already.
One last nitpick. When the characters are walking around, they look constipated. I just thought that was worth noting. Overall, this first level left a lot to be desired and definitely wasn't as fun as the back of the box made it sound. I feel very lied to. No time to feel disappointed and sink further into depression. We're rushed right into the next segment of the game with another awesome pre-rendered cutscene. Alright, this is probably one of the most memorable sequences from the movie and I'm really excited to see how it translated into this game. Maybe it'll be like F-Zero with crazy high-speed action. Maybe they'll throw in some wacky items like in Mario Kart. That was funny. It's a sluggish top-down racing game with really slippery controls with a couple generic power boosts like the shield where you don't take damage or the turbo one where it gives you a turbo boost. You could also push the turbo button to go into turbo mode, but you only have a limited number of those because otherwise it would be cheating.
Gotta keep up with these guys, Junie.
Alright man, I'll try to.
Faster, Junie. Stay with them.
I'm going as fast as the game is letting me, dude. The controls are not very good in this one. It ends up feeling really slippery and the corners are almost impossible to turn without taking damage. Speaking of taking damage, if you take too much damage and run out of lives, you have to start all over. Not from the first round of racing, mind you, but from the battle stick level. Lives in this game are cumulative, so if you lose lives in the battle stick level, that translates to the racing level, and so on. The game doesn't make this clear to the player at any point, so this is basically the Dark Souls of Spy Kids video games. Also, there's a point system for some reason, and you run over these bars to get points. Whee!
Points are fine. Speed is better.
Okay, so if the point of this race is to win and speed is better, then why are there even points in the first place? If I'm supposed to be focused on winning a race, why do you make it so easy to get points? Why are you like this? Why are you like this faceless narrator? Please leave me alone and never talk to me or my family ever again. I'm really enjoying this game. Can't you tell I'm really enjoying this game? Once we reach the third round, it's time to put on my 3D glasses again, and wouldn't you know it, it does nothing and I have a headache again. By default, the racing level uses keyboard controls, but when I was messing around in the options menu, I discovered an alternate control scheme that uses the mouse instead. And honestly, it improved the feel of the controls drastically. You just kind of point to where you want to drive and it's way more fun to play the game like this. This should be the control scheme selected by default because it improves the gameplay in this section. But of course you have to go out of your way and randomly stumble into it. The next pre-rendered cutscene takes us to the next level.
Tinker Toys behind me.
I guess they didn't have the budget to actually animate the Tinker Toys, and that doesn't surprise me. After all, they didn't have the budget to make a good game. In this next level, we use the arrow keys to move around this river of lava and save what are apparently play testers from drowning in the lava. There's a couple power-ups scattered throughout the level, but honestly, the level is much easier without them. In fact, I'd go as far as to say the speed power-up makes the level much harder to navigate, and I found myself taking more damage while using it. After saving 8 of the play testers, we move on to round 2, where it is the exact same as the first round. In fact, it was a bit easier than the first round. You save 8 playtesters again and woo yay fun. Round 3, time to be disappointed again by the lack of any noticeable 3D effect and get another headache. There's a brand new obstacle this round, the Whirlpool of Death. Is it difficult to dodge? Nah, it's pretty easy. This time you have to rescue 10 playtesters instead of 8, so that's at least different, I guess. Final round, there's lava arches and you have to save 10 playtesters again. It's very easy. Junie falls into the lava and figures out it's fake even though he clearly already knew that, and that's when he hears a familiar voice.
Carmen?
Junie finds Carmen, hooray! Apparently she was just swimming in the fake lava waiting for someone to come along to help her open a random hatch she found, so that's cool. Under the hatch is the switch to shut down the game. How very convenient.
There's the switch.
Let's shut it down.
That's
That's it! Game over.
Congratulations, Junie. You have successfully completed all objectives.
Oh. So that's the end of the game, apparently. So to recap, we have 3 different levels each with 4 rounds that all feel basically the same. I'm starting to think this isn't a good video game. There's 2 more levels of difficulty, but I've had my fill of bad movie tie-in games for today and don't feel like playing anymore. What do I look like, the completionist? I'm the can't be bothered to finish the games I play. This is one of the laziest video games I've ever seen, licensed or not. Nothing about this game feels fun or interesting. The 3D effect just flat out doesn't work. It was a big selling point of the game too. They put it on the front of the box and everything. This is just a lazy cash grab made to sell movie tickets. And it could have been so much more. If they had devoted a lot of time and energy into making this a fun 3D game, like an actual 3D game, like 3D? Like 3D? If they made a 3D game? If you did this, could have been great. All 3 of these games are plagued with issues that point me to the conclusion that, and you might want to be sitting down for this next sentence, none of these games were thought out very well. I think there was a lot of potential for video games based on the Spy Kids series, but none of these 3 games seem like enough thought was put into them. Sure, there's plenty of references to the movies, but the level designs are lazy, the art design is lazy, the music is lazy, all of it's lazy. It's the worst kind of licensed kids game. Games that were solely made to advertise a product. The Cyber Spy Kit was a neat idea in principle, but realistically it was just a play to get people to buy the first movie on DVD and VHS, and it lacked anything of substantial value. Mega Mission Zone had some decent ideas, but finicky controls and glitchy gameplay made the game a chore to get through. And Spy Kids 3D game over the official movie of the game is simply lacking in content. I don't really want to fault the developers, because I think they did the best with what they were given. The movies were never pieces of high art. In fact, they were pretty much cheaply made movies that just so happened to do very well at the box office. They certainly had their charm, but there wasn't a chance that video games based on the movies were ever going to be masterpieces. And that's okay. They are what they are, and I respect their existence. While I did have some fun with these games, I just can't recommend them to anybody. They're terrible. They're just terrible. I really loved the Spy Kids movies when I was a kid, and these games just disappointed me. Now that I'm done being a spy forever, I've decided to devote my life to a brand new cause, something way more important than being a spy. I'll catch you guys at the skate park. And he says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that I could be like